Hey there, guys. We're back on the new player series, and now we're going to be going to Clash of Wills. So the other day, I did the step up for Tsukiko. The polls didn't go so good. We had to go all the way to pity. But after the login shards, we now have an EX2 Tsukiko. Now, using her, we basically just OTK'd or two-turn killed our way up to level 99, and now we're going to be going for a high score run on Giorno using this party. Now, because this account only can get up to EX level 9, that's the best we can do. So we're going to get for a perfect score within our EX levels, which is an EX level 9 clear. So we're going to turn on both the HP modifiers, because they don't really matter that much. We're going to turn on one of the defense mods, one of the resist mods, and we're going to turn on the HP lock. So, using all these modifiers, we are capped at EX level 9, and we'll do the best we can, basically. Okay, so here's the party, and let's give it a go, and I'll show the gear and all at the end. I'll even post a turn chart if you want to use this modifier, or this clear, to modify it based on your own unit options and all that. So, first of all, first thing we're going to do is we're going to use Beach Blaster Olive's LB to start unlocking her focus skill for later. Then Tsukiko is going to Blessed Omamori, Earthquake, and Quicksand. That'll break the boss, hit the boss, etc. Rhonda is going to do Cover and then just hit the boss twice. Roberta will Rousing Roar, Draconic Trioon, and Support from the Skies. Now, the Rousing Roar is going to fill LB gauge. I'm sorry, the Draconic Trioon is going to fill the LB gauge for Olive, so we can get her focus unlocked a little bit easier. Sylvie on turn 1 will Burgeoning Defense, Vines, and Petals. That's all the mitigations. It also fills a lot of morale gauge. And our Kresnik is only EX0, therefore we cannot use his Brave Shift. So he's just going to be a morale battery with Potion, Antioxidant, and Remedy. Okay, so because we don't have the Attack and Magic modifier turned on, the boss's damage is significantly lower than it would be with a full modifier clear. So Rhonda's not going to take a ton of damage. Now that being said, it will still be a little bit painful with the damage over time and the AoE magic attacks on some later turns, but the early turns aren't too bad with that modifier turned off. Okay, now we need to get Olive's LB refilled this turn. It's not quite filled all the way, but we are going to use Rhonda's LB this turn to... there we go, that got it. Okay, but before we do anything, let's go to the base form with Tsukiko. We're going to Purification for Morale and Imperil Cure. We're going to Mandala Earth to apply the Imperil Field, and then imbue the party with Maiden Earth. Okay, wait for all this to finish. Now, if Olive's LB... Let's go ahead and do Roberta as well. Roberta's LB for the 300% LB damage buff. Now, if Olive's LB was not ready, you could normal attack Kresnik, and that'll refill it the rest of the way. If Kresnik is like dual wielding or quad attacking or using a multi-attack materia, you'll fill more LB gauge, but we got it, so there we go. And now this is going to also seal the boss because we're imbued at this point. And because Kresnik didn't need to fill LB, we'll just reload him and fill morale instead. And Sylvie is going to Offense to fill more LB, Compassionate, and Resolve. We need that Resolve for the damage over time. You might have seen my No Sylvie clear where I kind of like struggled with that damage over time. But with Sylvie on the party, she can do a powerful regeneration and we're fine. So this turn, the boss applies the damage over time. It is very strong when it's applied on turn 2 because the boss has this unremovable attack and magic buff. So he's very, very powerful on this turn. It can be removed, but he reapplies it on turn 2 anyway, so dispelling it on turn 1 wouldn't actually do anything. It's irrelevant. Anyway, so now we have the damage over time. Okay, so because the gear on the newbie account is much weaker than my main account, we can't just face tank it on everyone. So Olive has to just guard on this turn to not die to the damage over time. Rhonda will SLB for mitigation. Tsukiko can triple Purification. That's just going to fill morale gauge. As you see, 350 morale per cast. Kresnik can reload and fill morale gauge. Sylvie is going to also fill morale gauge with Petals, Vines, and we're going to refresh Compassionate so it's up later in the fight because she's going to be busy the next few turns. And then Roberta can go to the Shift form that's a little bit bulkier. And we're going to Rousing, Emissary for the Magnus, and then Charging Raid to seal the boss. And there is our Earth damage of the turn by right there, sealing the boss. Okay, damage over time, and we heal it back up because of Sylvie. Perfect, outstanding. Now, I didn't see how much damage Olive took, but I know from experience if Olive wasn't guarding that turn, she would have gutsed, and we need her guts for later. I don't own any guts gear on this account, so the only guts we have are units' natural guts, and we're going to need that guts on Olive later in the fight. So we couldn't have it like used up right now. And again, because I don't own any from gear, yeah, we can't use any. Anyway, we still have the damage over time this turn, so what we're going to do is we're just going to guard Olive yet again. And we're bursting on turn 6, by the way. This party, because Kresnik is only EX0, he can't Brave Shift. Notice the morale gauge is really bad right now, so we're going to be doing a turn 6 burst. Let's go ahead and guard Olive again. Let's have Runda just cover and hit the boss twice to seal, because remember, the party is imbued at this point. Tsukiko can just reload and do morale gain with a triple purification. Kresnik can reload for morale gain. Roberta can do rousing, insect for the permanent buff, and then charging raid to just hit the boss. There we go. And then Sylvie is now going to get us ready for bursting on turn 6. So Sylvie is going to do her Earth Magnus, Marion's Blessing Earth. Then she's going to do Cheerful to fill more morale gauge. And then Demon Killer on Olive, so it is there for the burst turn. Okay, so again, just some more damage. Damage over time, we heal it back up. Tsukiko didn't have a barrier this turn. Now here's 3 non-elemental AoEs, but because the modifier is not turned on, the attack and magic modifier, it's not that strong, so the party's pretty fine. Okay, so we're going to be bursting on turn 6, so we're going to be getting ready for it on turn 5. Now, turn 5, the damage over time has worn off at this point, so we're relatively fine there. Wait for all this to finish. Okay, so Olive is going to get ready for bursting next turn. We're going to just break the boss, and then whatever, and then Giant, and then Fire Cannon Fire, so that she's ready for bursting with her Magnus. Runda can just reload and refresh cover and seal the boss. Tsukiko is going to magic focus. I did, luckily enough, get an off-banner Dark Rain, so we can focus on Tsukiko. Roberta is going to go to the base form, where she's going to fill morale. She's going to use Mega Breath and Mystic to get ready for bursting next turn. Sylvie is going to use her Shifted LB. That's for the modifier boost and all that. And then Kresnik is going to triple. We're going to, with Kresnik, AoE re-raise. That's just for the safety. We shouldn't need it, but you never know. And then we'll do Potion and Remedy. Okay, and that should have filled the morale gauge to the maximum. Just in time for bursting on turn 6. So, morale looks good. Okay. So this turn, the boss reapplies the damage over time, but thankfully he has no attack and magic buff this turn, as you see. So this time, the damage over time is very, very weak. Well, weaker. It still deals some damage, but nowhere near as much damage as it deals the first time he applies it early in the fight, when he has that crazy damage over time effect. Or that crazy attack and magic buff. Anyway, so the party is all broken, which is unfortunate. We can't really cure it this turn, which kind of sucks. But Tsukiko is immune to the break, or the magic break, thanks to her TMR. So this turn, wait for all the auto-casting to finish, I don't want to mess anything up. Okay, let's do the attack and magic buff. Now we're going to burst. So shifted, or the SLB of Olive, we're going to shift Tsukiko and do her shifted LB. We're going to quad Mystic with Roberta to weave in Olive's LB. Sylvie is going to triple Clever. That's going to support chain with Kresnik, who's going to do Scarlet Wave. And then Runda's going to SLB. Now, for the timing, we're going to click Roberta first, then we're going to click Olive, then Tsukiko. That's going to use their LBs and get that weaved in properly. Then we're going to do Runda, Sylvie, and Kresnik right afterwards. That's going to use Runda to refill the LB gauge of Olive and Tsukiko, along with Sylvie doing triple Clever, and that'll fill a lot of LB gauge, and then it's going to give us a 100 count chain score and all that. So, okay, so Roberta first, then a moment later, Olive, then Tsukiko, then everyone else. So this, wait just a moment, and then this, and that should be a 148 count chain score, assuming you did it correctly. Oh, the chain broke. That really sucks. It should still be over 100, I think. It is. We should be good. And then there we go. We did 2.6 with Tsukiko. So, 3.4 billion. We only needed 2.5. So damage cap has been handled, even though the chain broke. We still got over, I clicked the rest of them too slow. I clicked Roberta, and then I waited too long to click the rest. So that was my bad. But it didn't matter. We still got there. Perfect score, chain count score done, etc. Now we're in phase 2. Phase 2 is the hard phase, by far harder than phase 1. Okay, so this turn, the boss is going to be doing a lot of AoE attacks. Some non-elemental, some elemental. He also imperiled us and removed our buffs from earlier. So what we're going to do is click the right unit. So Kresnik is going to Potion, Antioxidant, and Remedy. That'll get rid of the breaks as well as the imperils. Now we don't have a resist buff because he removed them from earlier. You'll notice we have no resistance buffs, which is kind of unfortunate. So we're going to use Runda this turn to just Calamity Border because we need some resistance for this turn. We're going to go to the base form with Tsukiko, and we're going to reapply debuffs. So Blessed on Memori, we're going to re-imbue Earth with Consecration, and we'll do Prayer of Protection for a decent mitigation and stat buff and all that. Let's see. Roberta is going to do her base form LB for the LB damage buff. And then Sylvie, we need Sylvie to reapply her Earth Magnus. And then we're going to do Demon Killer. Let's look at the LB gauge. Yeah, the LB gauge is good. So we're going to do the Earth Magnus. We're going to do Demon Killer on Olive. And we're going to do Paladin's Offense. That's going to refill LB gauge the rest of the way, as well as buff and get the Earth Amplify for the next few turns. Now, Olive's going to get ready for bursting. Notice we didn't hit the boss yet at all. We need to seal the boss. So Olive will dual Summer Shot to seal the boss immediately. Then she will break, Giant Melons, and Cannon Fire to get ready for bursting next turn. So there's going to be some AoE attacks. Like I said, double non-elemental. We have the damage over time. The boss has an attack and magic buff this turn. It's going to be a very painful turn, and Olive will very likely guts. This is why we couldn't use Olive's natural guts earlier in the fight. So here we go, and then some attacks, and then some more attacks, and then boom, Olive guts. But thankfully, with the gear I'm using, she does survive until the last hit. That's all that matters. She's still standing, and that was the crazy, crazy painful turn. The next turn is not so bad. Okay, so on turn 8, the boss has lower physical mitigation, and Olive is a physical type damage dealer. So we're going to do the biggest burst we can on turn 8. Okay, so wait for all the autocasting to finish. Okay, so first of all, we're going to use Kresnik to get rid of all those debuffs. We are broken again, so Potion, Antioxidant, and Remedy. We're also going to use Sylvie to go to the base form and reapply mitigation, because we're not going to finish off the boss this turn, because we don't have Kaito. Notice the boss has a defense and spirit buff. These cannot be dispelled. They can only be removed with Kaito, and it's a 200% defense and spirit buff. He is very bulky in phase 2 if you don't have Kaito on the party, and I don't own Kaito. So Sylvie is going to, in the base form, reapply the mitigations because they wore off last turn. So Petals, Vines, and we need Compassionate for that charm immunity. So there we go. Wait for all this to finish. Okay, we're also going to do the defense and, the attack and magic buff this turn. Olive is going to use her LB to cap. Tsukiko is going to shift and use her shifted LB. We're going to triple bolting Runda. And in order to proper chain this, we're going to shift Roberta and triple bolting her in the shift form. You know what I'm realizing? It's actually more damage to do her base form. Yeah, we're going to do it that way, actually. Okay, I'm actually changing up my turn chart. Whatever, it's fine. So we're going to... I'm not used to doing it this way. Okay, so we're going to do... this. Hopefully I did it right. And did I cap... I did. And there, and then... Okay, so that was actually Less damage. That was a bad variance roll. OMG. Yeah. Ew. Okay, well, we can do Runda's LB again, and that was a really bad variance roll. Wow. I'm a little worried about turn 9 now. Okay, so this turn is just an AoE wind and water attack. No one should die from this. We should be fine. Okay. Yeah, we're fine here. But like I said, I'm a little concerned about this coming up turn because yeah. That was a real bad variance roll. Maybe we'll get a really good variance roll on this upcoming turn. Okay, let's hope for the best because we are in trouble. Let's use Runda's SLB just in case things don't go the way we hope they go. We can have Kresnik do his LB, or I'm sorry, his refill stuff. We're going to use Sylvie to shift here. We're going to I've Got Your Back on Tsukiko, and we're going to, let's see, what else do we need to do? Just in case, let's Paladin's defense and cheerful. You know what we can do, actually? Let's I've Got Your Back on Tsukiko and double clever. And maybe this feels LB. That variance was so absurdly horrible that we had a minute ago. So I'm really hoping that we can do better this turn. Alright, and let's attack and magic buff. Okay, so we're going to just hope for better variance here. So we're going to use Olive. Wait just a moment. We're going to use Sikuko. Wait just a moment. Then we're going to use this. And we're going to hope that the variance is better here. We also have a bigger amplify this turn. There it is. Okay, that was much better. Yeah, normally the boss is at like 24% on turn 8. Or after turn 8 burst. And that time he was at 29%. That was like 5% variance. Anyway, we got it. There's a perfect score with our scrub team. Okay, so that should have been everything. Hopefully I got enough morale gain. We did. Okay, perfect score across the board. That was definitely a messy clear. I've done better in practice runs, but whatever, we got it done. So you can obviously see who carries this Clash of Wills. The mitigation is very unfriendly to our normal DPS units. Roberta is mostly a support unit here, and Olive doesn't have very good killers because I can't fit it. I don't own good killers on this account. But thankfully, Tsukiko doesn't need killers. So there we go. There's our perfect score of 9 out of 9 modifiers, and hey, we got let's get rid of the rainbow ticket for a banner ticket. Yeah, banner tickets are more and more useful. Anyway, so that gets us to rank 781. Now, obviously, with only 9 modifiers, or 9 EX levels, we're not going to be in the top ranks. But I mean, we're in the top 1,000, which is something. I'm not sure where we're going to drop to by the end, but it was fun. Okay, so I'll show you the team's gear. I'll put a turn chart in the comments. Although I kind of deviated from the turn chart. You kind of got to just play it by ear. You know, just do the best you can. But we got there. So here's the party we used. Now, again, we didn't use 3 of the modifiers. So Kresnik is only EX0 for me. I got him off banner, only 1 copy. I can't brave shift him. So he just did morale fill every turn. There's his build. Some water and wind resist, as much spirit and HP as we can reasonably fit. His own TMR or STMR. Yeti style and Scarlet Wave for support chain. If you don't have Scarlet Wave, you can use Braska's TMR as well, because he support chains on turn 6. We never used Yeti style because we didn't need the morale fill. I'm sorry, the LB fill, but it was there just in case. And then a janky card, my level 5 out of 10 Beach Beauties. Yeah, this account has real janky gear, but you know, we made it work. We're using like Chocobo Memoria. Like, oh my god, this account. Well, we did good. Anyway, Sylvie in the base form is passive provoking with Moogle Charm and A Hero Arrives. That way Runda can cover for her and do good. Blizzard Orb just in case. We never needed it, but you know, whatever. Other than that, some bulk. And there we go. Just, you know, generic bulk. And then shift form, same thing. Generic bulk, same build. Some water and wind resist. And, yep, she is, really good for this. Roberta in the base form is using the Celestite Ring. Other than that, her damage is garbage. I never enhanced her. I gave her pots finally, but I never enhanced her. I don't have the Fortisite. I ran out of Fortisite. New player struggles. Some resistance, some spirit and HP, and a lot of killers. There we go. And then she's using Sylvie's card and dual wielding for more morale gain. Shift, I only have one Sylvie's card, obviously. Shift form, same thing. She's not enhanced because I don't have any Fortisite. I just ran out. The ring's in the wrong form. I start in the base form. Well, whatever. There it is. And she's got some wind and water resist. Beach Blaster Olive is using immunity to water, and then that way she gutses the and survives the turn 7 attack. So immunity to water or wind, quote unquote, as much spirit as you can fit with her 472 spirit. She is potted. Like, I don't have infinite red quartz, but she is spirit potted. Yeah, 472 spirit, thick olive. So there we go. There's the gear we're using. We are using some killers, but I mean, gear's a struggle. Kind-hearted demon. We don't have the chain cap up because I only own one copy. And then here's the build. 200 LB damage, 175 fairy, and 225 demon, because I can't even get the demons on Diabolos. The demon killer on Diabolos. I don't have enough Esper ore. Yep. Well, there it is. Obviously, if she was, like, better geared, we'd be doing more damage. Shrine Maiden Tsukiko in the base form is using some... Oh, by the way, water and wind. Oh, I showed you that already. Tsukiko, water and wind in the base form, some spirit and HP. There we go. Magic focus if you own it. Having that Dark Rain off banner was really, really lucky on this account. And then her own card. Shift form, she got all the good gear. So her own STMR, LB damage up, chain cap up, evocation up. There it is. So 8,353 magic, and we've got maxed LB damage, 280 Esper damage, and 290 Evo damage. And I went ahead and gave her level 130 as well, because as an evoker, we're not going to be relying on killers with her, so I figured she was good to level 130. And then Runda, Best Boy Runda, has some wind and water resist. He is lower in the party order than our passive provoker. Other than that, some physical bulk, some magic bulk, and then I gave him Calamity Border because we need someone to buff resistances on turn 7. And we gave him a janky card that isn't even max level, but it was fine. Runda had no problems that clear. Anyway, there was the 9 out of 9 perfect score on the newbie account. Hope it's been informative. See you next time.